Coach Lundy, the offensive staff, came in at halftime, kind of reassessed where we're at. We thought we were going to get certain things from them defensively, and obviously made some adjustments. They're very talented up front. I think that game in itself is a really good for us. That's what we're going to see in the Big Ten, the speed, the defensive line, the edges. I thought it was really, really good for us. Super excited for our players, super excited, a lot of fans here. I think to go on the road and play in an environment, obviously the crowd was good. We had a lot of our people there, but just to go on the road and have success, and really the second half to play the way we did, at halftime, a lot of things happened there at the end, kind of a critical penalty. They gave us points and just really good teaching moments. It's one thing to have those moments, but we got to learn from it, and I thought our guys did that. So super excited. Just some guys, Tanner Heckel is just an awesome kid. It's fun to see him just continue to grow and get better. Matt Bailey, the punch out, right? But I'm going to tell you, the play of the game came from a coach, Chris Hurd, on the sideline. Our assistant special teams coach, a guy that worked for me at Arkansas, literally tried to get him hired at the Patriots when I was there, and just a guy that I respect a lot in his profession. He puts in hours and hours and hours in our office, and he starts screaming, "There's 2-8s on the field, 2-8s on the field," and we had that 5-yard gain with Hank Beatty there that Luke kind of just flipped out there. You never know how the game's going to play out. That obviously drew attention to the officials, because a lot of times it happens in special teams where there's two players with the same numbers and it never gets noticed. And Chris Hurd was screaming at it. It had popped up on our scouting report, right? And he was making a big deal of it. And then we were yelling at the officials and they threw it. And that literally changed the game, in my opinion, because the next play was a big play, and that really kind of took the game away from them at that point. And when we scored there, and a really, really huge point in the game. So a lot of credit to Chris and our coaches.
You mentioned varying adjustments at halftime. What was the issues in the first half, and what did you guys do to correct those?
Well, not to get specifics, but we're doing some things offensively that they were really doing a nice job of countering. Also, just the skill set that they had, I thought was really good. So our coaches made an adjustment about how we were going to attack them in the run game and also in protections, and really did a nice job. Really settled Luke down, and then Luke started connecting on some things. Really excited for Cole Rusk. He's a guy that, bless his heart, had the knee injury, and he's been coming back from that, and it's kind of was doing good. And in camp had it kind of swell up on him a little bit, but that's a guy hopefully we can just continue to grow and build with. Jordan Anderson popping in there at the running back and the tight end, and you're having him in multiple. What I love about this offense, what I kept telling Barry, right, like the more multiple we can be by not necessarily doing a lot of things, but having a lot of people on the field, it's hard to game plan against that. And I thought our guys, put together a nice plan and nice adjustments as well.
How many more ways do you think you're going to use Hank Beatty this season?
I called him. I think it was Monday. Was Monday the holiday? Yeah, Monday, right? And I've been in our coaches. I know when I was a defense coordinator how hard it is when you pop somebody in at quarterback that has great ball skills. And we had done it a little bit last year, never really materialized. And then, honestly, when I saw Hank, catch the pass last week, but also then in the punt return, he's just so good with the ball, right? He's just got this different ability to him. So I said, hey, let's put him in at quarterback. So I called Hank, and we were going to do a couple things with him offensively. And I called him and I said, I go, hey, I'm going to try to put you in there a little bit of quarterback. Are you good for that? And he paused. He's like, Coach, I did that in high school really good. I said, I know. So I never thought Luke Altmaier would be a run decoy, though. He went in flashback across it. One of the things you do when you're with the quarterback in there, I just don't want him to get hit on an unnecessary hit. So we were bringing him around high, and he drew quite a bit of attention. It pulled guys out of it, and then Hank did a couple of blocks downfield, did a hell of a job.
What were your thoughts with the way your team capitalized on mistakes? It was not just the 2-8s, but the punt. They mugged the punt.
Yeah.
You guys seemed like you took advantage every time they gave you another.
Yeah, so, before the game, I walked down there. It was the Duke's end zone, but I always just go down there because, when you're playing with these noon kickoffs, 11 a.m. My first year as a head coach, we went 12-1. But beside the point, it was 11 a.m. kickoff every day. And I know why a lot of times teams had struggled with catching the ball in the punt game and the kicking game in those 11 o'clock games because they're especially if they practice in the morning and there's not a lot of sun. So I knew that direction was going to be an issue. I don't know if that's what happened to that young man, but yeah, we talked about that last week. Last night I put a 7-play clip, 8-play clips of teams punching out the ball on them last year and stuff. So I really wanted to show that and showcase that. And Matt Bailey, that one on the sideline was a really big punch out. I think Gabe Atkins had one over there. A lot of our guys, when they're coming from behind, when you're hitting the quarterback, I mean, these guys are, such protected players anymore, as they should be, right? Like, it's kind of like the NFL. When I was in the NFL, what we learned to teach is we actually didn't start tackling quarterbacks. We started punching the balls out, right? Because you could get penalized so many different ways for hitting them. So we've really put a huge emphasis on that. Gabe is probably the premier of it, but Matt Bailey just absolutely awesome at it as well.
Right, you talked about more games games are won or lost than won.
Yeah.
At this level, you had to turn those mistakes into points. Is that the product of having a veteran team?
Well, a great teaching point for us. Daniel Brown at the end of the half there, just an unnecessary push. And that's a great. I mean, listen, Daniel Brown, I love that kid. I was the only guy in America that offered him, and I think he's going to be an incredible player. But that was a really good teaching moment for him. Same thing with Malik, right? Like we got, thankfully that ball back, but look at the way he responded. He made 2 shoestring catches that really were big parts of early drives there. Again, so it's just one guy after the other. But yeah, there was a lot of teachable moments. Especially for us in the second half. And, my guys get tired of me saying it, but yeah, more games are lost than won. And usually the culprits are penalties, mental errors, and turnovers. So that penalty at the end of the half, I was able to come in here and, send a little message like, hey, that's just unacceptable,
What did you see from the way your defensive coaches drew up this game?
Yeah.
What was most important for you guys in this game?
Aaron does a really nice, I always talk about let's make him play left-handed. By that I just mean make him try to do things that they're not. We knew this guy was going to throw it around, right? They didn't bring him in and pay him the money. They brought him, to hand the ball off, right? So he's out there to throw it around, and obviously we knew we were going to give up some underneath things, but like to keep the ball in front of us and make them earn it was a big part of it. The only time that really broke down was right there at the end of the half, and really good capitalization of it. I think this football team that we just played is going to make a lot of noise in the schedule.
Brad, you said you felt good about your team, but what stood out? What did you learn about your team?
I think the tale of two halves, right? It's not what I literally preached to my coaches this morning. Is the last thing I said to them, and the last thing I said to my team in the meeting this morning was, something's going to happen today that's out of our control, right? Like we may have done something that caused it, but there's going to be something that happens today, and it's not what happens, it's how you react to what happens, right? And bottom line, the whole first half, we never really seemed like we were in rhythm. Didn't seem like we were ahead on the scoreboard, but in my opinion, we had done a lot of things to not put ourselves in a better position, and it literally flipped a switch there in the second half and capitalized on it. I'm really excited about this team. It's opportunity number 2. We took full advantage of it. Now we'll see what we do with 3.
Coach, you took some time for the run game to keep going. What did you like about what Khalil gave you, specifically late?
Yeah, again, I've said it a million times, but those 3 guys are just uniquely different. All of a sudden you got 3 in there, Caden Fagan up there hammering away. You saw him that time. That time he got up and gave the first down, like the whole place are up on our sideline. And then, as soon as we put Khalil in there, I grabbed him on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I said in the staff meeting to Thad, I told the guys, I'm going to tell you 5's going to pop one this week, right? And literally, they get in there. And for a linebacker, you get used to tempoing the play on those inside zones. A lot of times inside zones, you get ahead of the play. And so all of a sudden you see 3 coming downhill, and all of a sudden 5, boom, and he can just go, right? I thought Luke really did a nice job of managing the clock. I mean, he literally came up to me before I said anything and said, Coach, how do you want me to handle the clock? Like when your quarterback's asking you before you say anything, that's when you got something.
Did you have a feeling that Tanner Hackle would have an impact, like maybe this week or this week?
Yeah, so we were kind of having we had KP was down a little bit, I said, hey, let's put Tanner in and move X outside, right? And because Tanner kind of feels better inside. He's been battling a little sciatic nerve. He had a sore butt. And that's what flared up on the back end. So I came over there after that last pass breakup, and I said, "Is it your butt?" And he started laughing. He said, "Yeah, I got a sore butt, Coach." But for 8-man football, I hope I can find more guys like that. He's as you guys can tell, he looks completely different. One of our great war daddies on special teams. Everything that kid does is everything he does right? Like he just very impactful, very, very really good kid, fun kid to be around. Super excited about it, and he's not even close to being where he can be.
After an injury standpoint, is he able?
Yeah. I asked the same question. I asked when Khalil took off on it. I said to Thad, I go, "Where's Aiden?" And I didn't get a response, and I'm glad I didn't because 5 looked pretty good on that play. But I don't know of anything right now. And usually if somebody happens, I do think Dylan Rosiak he'd been battling a hammy a little bit, and I think that got on him. But I think actually we got pretty healthy. Jude's got a chance coming back this week, and obviously we got Western Michigan, very special week for us this week in our program. So super excited about this week and to get back home and get in front of our crowd. And I thought we learned a lot about ourselves today.